Sports presents Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
Another episode of Benning Bites. Appreciate you. However you get us, make sure you do Apple, Google, as in like search, Apple, Spotify. I said Apple already. That's just what you get with me. Pretty sporadic. Fantastic show with my man Andrew Rogers. Make sure you give him a follow. He's at Andrew Rogers TV. It is Coffee and Cream. We will be live here shortly. But coming off a fantastic show yesterday, so busy, like we didn't even get to, the first 2024 commit in Coach Rhule's class. We didn't get to Nebraska's upcoming basketball schedule. We really didn't get into what Nebraska women's basketball has to do coming up, or the fantastic start of Nebraska softball. So, listen, we get it. There's a ton going on, and we're trying to make sure that we do a good job focusing on what you find folks are interested in. So whatever that is, like, let us know. Don't be afraid. Just don't be the guy or gal that's like, hey, we're 20 minutes into the show, and you guys didn't get to Creighton Marquette. Like, we will. Just got to give it a second. Trust me on that one. So, but I mean, if there's something that you feel like you either want me to get in bites or needs immediate attention in the show, let us know, man. We want to be accommodating. We surely appreciate you. That number's 888-638-4876. My DMs, you can just let me know. And a lot of you do. Hey, we would like to know about this, or what are your thoughts on this? And that's off the heels of yesterday, just looking at the spring schedule, and in particular what made me giddy. Like, hee. It's my best Michael Jackson impersonation on just the breakdown and not breaking it up with spring break and going 8 weeks in a certain barometer. And I had to stop myself mid kind of segment with Andrew where I was thinking, wait, before I give him credit, maybe I better see if this is just luck of the draw. Is this just how the schedule broke? So, of course, I like to go be a Berean and do my own homework. I ask a lot of questions, and so I'm talking to the Nebraska Sports Information Department, and I went straight to the source and asking Coach Rhule, and I feel good. Obviously not because I was right. Just more validation that I feel like I understand his thought process. And he's got to be a guy. And I mean, and let's just cut through the chase. Whether you feel like this is a Kool-Aid thing or you're predicting wins or not predicting wins, you cannot, at this particular juncture, say he is not truthful. I mean, he has done up to this point, and again, this is independent of wins. Two things can be true at once. He's done exactly what he said he's going to do. You go back and you listen to the introductory press conference, what he's about, how he wants to build, and then go back and look at the recruiting class. Look at what he said. Look at how he's talked about strength and conditioning. Look at the staff that he's built. And for me, it not necessarily that it makes him uniquely gifted. It does make him authentic and experienced. I cannot stress that enough. Authenticity and experience, when they go together with a lifelong learner, you give yourself a chance. You don't guarantee results, but you give yourself a chance. And we're talking about the spring schedule, and sometimes I know you guys think sometimes my delivery is one in which, oh man, DB, he's a know-it-all. He's a know-it-all, and couldn't be further from the truth, right? I am the same guy that will say, hey, I don't know enough, or I don't want to speculate, or if I do speculate, I'll say, hey, I'm guessing here, but it's based on context clues. So even I sometimes have to question myself with being enamored with the process this early on, especially when I have a young person in my household that is under the influence of what the program is doing and what they say. Like, all those little things matter. So when I think about Coach Rhule and what he said about he doesn't like to leave many things to chance. And, you know, he's a guy who's mastered the art of listening on the fly. I'm telling you, and I'll say this until the cows come home, and I've been around some dynamic leaders, some in the private sector like Jay Noddle of Noddle Development, or Candace Gregory, the CEO at Open Door Mission. I've been around Dom Capers, who I think had this quality, Coach Osborne, who I think had this quality. When you get around folks that possess this thing where they can receive information, process it quickly, and figure out how it relates to who they are in their innermost workings, is you give yourself a chance to be a really, really good leader. And I think he possesses those qualities. His ability to receive information, spit it out as he's internalizing it, and make it unique to what his experiences are, is a gift. He doesn't hem-haw around a lot, and it's not like he's coming off a script. So what that tells me is his ability to process is fantastic, but he has conviction and resolve of where he's been and what he's done. Like, I think he recognizes that, and don't ever undersell that. You know, there's going to come some times where it's not always rainbows and butterflies, and there may be a tough loss, or there may need to be some explaining to happen at the podium. And I guarantee you one thing, he's going to own it. There will be as I like to say, you've seen me post it on Twitter, there is no BCD. There is no blaming, complaining, or deflecting. There will be ownership in it. And it's just disarming, because I think he's already honest by nature, which gives you a chance to have success as a leader, because deep down, that's what young people want. Deep down, that's what adults want. Let's be honest. Even at your job, you want to be led. It may not come across like that at the surface, but you want to be led. And furthermore, young people deep down want to be led. They want direction. They want discipline. And so when I look at this schedule, and I had to ask, I said, hey, I mean, was this just kind of luck of the draw of the calendar? Is this the way the television broke for the spring game? Is this a BTN thing? Like, you know, please tell me this is deliberate while I'm singing your praises. And it basically is, hey, listen, I've done this a long time, and these are the core beliefs of what I think it takes to be fundamentally sound. This is the benchmark, whether it's, and we don't have to get into the nitty-gritty of the details, but whether it's 5 weeks or 6 weeks or 7 weeks or 8 weeks, he has a baseline that they believe works in terms of continuity. And then you run a quick diagnostic check, if you will, of the pros and cons, and you weigh them on the fly, and you make decisions, and you go with it. And that's how you get what I think is a fantastic schedule. And it's not just because DB did it or DB said it. Well, you know, that's how they did it back in the old days when they had 20 practices and they didn't have spring break. And, I mean, full disclosure, yeah, that's a little bit of it. Like, I know that it's tried and true. It's proven. But I do know there's a certain duration that you have to do something in order to get to a mastery level, right? Whether it's 10,000 reps or whatever. In order to give yourself a chance, you need to put in a little work, sweat, equity. And, you know, he brought the guys in a week early in order to pull this kind of schedule off. And sometimes it's not a popular opinion. It just isn't. But remember, I told you, the irrational sense of self-belief that he has, and how he's built that staff from a connectivity standpoint where they know how each other's thinking. And remember, what I think the biggest difference is between this current staff and any other staff that I've gotten a chance to know over the last 20 years is this is the best combination of leadership at the administration level and the head coaching spot. A lot of times we've had one or the other, and we haven't had it at the same time. And I think this combination gives Nebraska the best chance to have success when you put the administration and the leadership of the athletic director and Ted Carter with the head coach, and Matt Rhule, and how he specifically designed this staff. You give yourself a chance. In 4 good weeks of spring ball, with the culmination of a spring game in which competition will reign supreme. It's not so long ago, you guys and gals have heard me say, I remember when spring ball used to mean something. And I think it will again. And not going to kid you, it makes me pretty excited. Especially when I hear him say things like, listen, recovery is important. We need to understand that the best ability is availability, and we need to learn from the past. And how do I keep our core guys healthy? Again, he hasn't fibbed to you yet. He's not fibbing to you now. That's why I get excited. All that and more. We appreciate you fine folks. Nothing crazy. But what would you ask me if you had 5 or 6 minutes with me? That's what Benning Bites is all about, and I love doing it because it helps me too. And every day I continue to learn just because of the tough questions that you fine folks ask me. So keep it up. And let's be in this bad boy together. Be all in at the end of the day. It's Benning Bites.